You ever hit a point where the excitement wears off and suddenly everything feels like pushing through wet concrete? That moment right there, that is exactly where most people quit. And that is exactly where this video begins. Welcome back. If you have been following along on this journey, you already know what we have been building. And if this is your first time here, stick around because what we are talking about today applies to every single goal you are chasing, every single project you have started, and every single version of yourself you are trying to become. This is video 24, and the message today is simple, but it is not easy. It is time to settle in and keep going. Let me explain what I mean by settling in, because I think a lot of people misunderstand this phrase. Settling in does not mean lowering your standards. It does not mean getting comfortable with mediocrity. What it actually means is making peace with the process. It means accepting that you are in the middle, that the middle is uncomfortable, and that the middle is where champions are actually made. Think about any long journey. The beginning has energy, there is novelty, there is excitement, there is this rush of starting something new. The end has celebration. There is a finish line, there is a reward, there is the satisfaction of completion. But the middle? Nobody talks about the middle. The middle is where the work lives. The middle is where most stories quietly die. And right now, at video 24, we are absolutely in the middle. Here is something I want you to really sit with for a moment. The people who eventually succeed at big things are not necessarily the most talented. They are not always the smartest. They are almost always the ones who figured out how to stay in motion when the motivation ran dry. Motivation is a great starter, but a terrible engine. What keeps you moving forward long after motivation has packed its bags and left the building is something deeper. It is commitment, it is identity, it is the decision that you made at the beginning that you are going to see this through no matter what. Now let us talk about what settling in actually looks like on a practical level, because I am not here to just throw inspiration at you and send you on your way. Settling in means you have created a rhythm. You have built habits around whatever it is you are pursuing. You are no longer waiting to feel ready. You are no longer waiting for the perfect conditions. You show up on the hard days. You show up on the boring days. You show up when nobody is watching and nobody is cheering and there is no immediate reward in sight. That is where real growth happens. Not in the highlight moments, in the quiet, consistent, unglamorous moments of just doing the work again. I want to acknowledge something, and I think it is important. There is a very real psychological phenomenon that happens around this stage of any long project or journey. It is sometimes called the messy middle. Energy drops, doubt creeps in, progress feels invisible even when it is happening. You start comparing where you are to where you thought you would be by now. And that comparison is dangerous because it ignores all the growth that has already occurred. You are not the same person who started this. Think about that. 24 videos in, 24 conversations in, 24 steps taken. That is not nothing. That is a foundation. That is momentum that most people never build because they gave up somewhere back around episode 5 or 6 when things got hard. So what do you do when you are in this phase? Here is what works. First, you shrink your focus. Instead of looking at the entire mountain, you look at the next step, just the next one. What is the one thing you need to do today to stay in the game? Do that thing. Then tomorrow you ask the same question. Second, you reconnect with your why. Not the surface level why, but the deep one. The reason that actually matters. Because the surface level why, it fades when things get tough. The deep why, that one has staying power. Third, you find or create accountability. You tell someone what you are doing, you make a commitment out loud. Humans are social creatures and we perform differently when we know someone else is watching and rooting for us. And fourth, you celebrate the process, not just the outcome. Every single day you stayed consistent is a win. Every single video, every single workout, every single page written, every single hour invested is worth acknowledging. Do not wait for the big finish line moment to feel good about what you are building. Feel good about it now. Here's the truth I want to leave you with today. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not closed in moments of inspiration. It is closed rep by rep, day by day, decision by decision. And every decision you make to keep going when quitting would be easier, that decision is compounding. It is adding to something that eventually becomes undeniable. The people you admire, the ones who seem like they just figured it out, most of them have a version of this exact video in their story. A point where they could have stopped and nobody would have blamed them. A moment where they chose to settle in instead of give up. That choice changed everything for them. That same choice is in front of you right now. So here's what I'm asking from you today. Make a decision, not a feeling, a decision. Commit to the next step. Commit to showing up tomorrow. Commit to being someone who finishes what they start. We are 24 videos deep. The foundation is solid. The rhythm is there. Now it is time to trust the process you have already been building and push forward with everything you have got. I will see you in the next one. Keep going.